Hello everyone, good morning, wherever you're watching. It is 6:40 a.m., October 31st. We are on the 25th day of the fighting of the war. I am Lieutenant Colonel in the Reserves Johnathan, and I want to give you a daily update, a few topics. We're going to have a small piece of good news about the release of an Israeli hostage who is now safe with her family. We'll be speaking about the current situation on the ground in northern Gaza. We'll speak about tunnels and specifically compounds under hospitals that Hamas has prepared in Gaza. And then we will go north and speak about what Hezbollah is doing, how we are defending ourselves, and what this means for the region. Stay with us. Let's begin with some positive news. It doesn't happen a lot that we have positive news, but I am happy to say that Private Ori Megidish is now back home with her family. She was rescued in a special operation done by Israeli security forces, IDF and ISA, Shabak, who went into Gaza, got her out based on intelligence and on a lot of resources that were allocated towards this. She is now home with her family. She is well, both mentally and physically. She has provided intelligence that we'll be able to use in the future for future operations. And the only thing that I can say that won't jeopardize operational security is that we are committed and determined to get all of the 238 Israeli hostages that are still inside Gaza. Let's speak about the Southern Command and the situation on the ground. The commandos that you can see, this is the General in command of the Southern Command, General Finkelman, and he is leading the troops from the front. That is how Israeli commanders lead. Some of these pictures were taken, some of the footage was taken from inside Gaza. Our troops are now on the ground. We are expanding our activity in Gaza. We've conducted a few raids over the last days. We've expanded those now, and Israeli troops are in various parts of northern Gaza operating. We have entered, and as you can see here on this clip, which is from a few days, heavily armored vehicles, tanks, APCs, bulldozers entering into the Gaza Strip, moving slowly, meticulously, with a lot of firepower to support, with lots of intelligence, and looking for Hamas and engaging with Hamas combatants, attacking them on the ground and also from the air, using many of the resources that we have available for us. Some other visuals that you can see: tanks and APCs equipped with special engineering construction to face the threats that we know that they're going to face inside the densely populated urban terrain, and the columns that are advancing, and the various developments that we see inside. The situation on the ground is that we continue to strike Hamas. We are striking in all parts of the Gaza Strip. We have said before that we will continue to strike. We will focus our activities on the northern part of Gaza. That is the center of gravity of Hamas, and that is where we are attacking now. But we continue to strike in other parts of Gaza. We are hunting their commanders. We are attacking their infrastructure. And whenever there is an important target that is related to Hamas, we strike it. Now, we do so with professionalism. Hamas is the enemy, not the civilian population, and we focus our military efforts on Hamas to make sure that civilians, or to minimize the risk for civilians. 2 weeks ago, we called for the evacuation of civilians towards the south. We have added to that a humanitarian zone in the northern part of the Gaza Strip, just northwest of Khan Yunis, here called Muassi, and we hope that civilians will go there. Happy to see that more than 800,000 Palestinians have evacuated from the northern part, from the main combat area where there's most of fighting. Hamas has stopped many of them from doing so, but many have, and hopefully all of them will evacuate for a concern for their own safety. And humanitarian assistance continues to be delivered through the Rafah corridor into Gaza, into the southern point. There's also more access to water, there is food, and as days go by, I think we will be ramping up the facilitation of humanitarian assistance to the Gaza Strip. We do understand that the situation there is difficult, but this is not of our doing, and it isn't what we wanted. Please remember, we are 25 days into the fighting. We didn't start this, we didn't want it, but we are definitely going to end it, and it will end with a totally dismantled Hamas in a totally different security situation in the south. Let's speak about the Shifa hospital. For those of you who haven't seen this, this is an aerial view of Shifa, the most important and the largest hospital in Gaza. Hamas is using this infrastructure like many other protected facilities in Gaza, hospitals, clinics, schools, mosques, UN facilities, and we have shown footage of rocket fire between mosques and UN schools, and we have shown how Hamas uses the proximity of civilians. This perhaps is the most cynic and the worst use that they have done of these protected assets. This is an illustration, 3D, of what's above ground and below ground. Storage of weapons, command and control facilities, offices and places for terrorists to hide. This is all underneath the hospital. This is a violation of international law. This is despicable, and it puts the people that are being treated in the hospital at risk. It should be condemned and it should be stopped before it's too late. And that's the situation in Gaza. Operations continue. We continue to strike from the air, and our troops are on the ground enhancing the activities that we are conducting. Let's quickly move to the north and speak about what Hezbollah is attempting to do and how we are defending ourselves against Hezbollah. Up in the north, Hezbollah has been attacking across the border. Up until now, they have fired rockets. They have tried to infiltrate. They have fired dozens of anti-tank missiles at our civilians and at our military position. They have fired rockets at our positions in Mount Dov, and they have fired at our communities. Many things have been done by Hezbollah. We are defending ourselves against this aggression. We have been targeting, and these are the two senior commanders, of course, Lieutenant General Halevi, our Chief of Staff, and the General in charge of the Northern Command, Major General Gordon. They are on the ground monitoring the troops and making sure that the troops have the proper guidance. And I want to show you some results of what our troops have been doing in retaliation to Hezbollah attacks. These are strikes done, and you can see maybe a bit graphic image here, but I think this is part of what we're doing. Strikes conducted by our commando units that are using precise intelligence and precise delivery of weapons against Hezbollah operatives. Up until now, Hezbollah has quite a lot of casualties. Unfortunately, we have casualties as well. But at the end of the day, what's important here is for the state of Lebanon to understand that they stand to lose almost everything and gain absolutely nothing by allowing Hezbollah to drag them into a war. And if anybody cares about the state of Lebanon, they should be out of this war, because they will gain nothing from helping a bunch of terrorists in Gaza. That is the situation. We continue to be deployed, strong and vigilant along our borders. We are definitely not going to allow Hezbollah to escalate and enhance their attacks against us. We are defending against that, and we will continue to operate in Gaza and defend ourselves on all of our other fronts. Rockets that were fired from Syria, and all kinds of reports of aerial threats that we had in the south in Eilat. I hope you stay connected and that you stay informed. Please follow our tweets, our updates, our posts on Facebook, and all of the other accounts that I know that by now you are familiar with. We work hard in order to deliver timely, verified, and honest information so that you can be aware of the situation on the ground. I hope you find this useful, and I wish you all the best. Shalom.